Hello, I'm Blade BoQuest, you guys. Alright, so this is day 2 of that upload because yesterday I was talking about is Axie Infinity a scam, and I had 5 different points. We reviewed the company, how its actual team is built, where they came from, what's their history, comparing it to a pyramid scheme, comparing it to a Ponzi scheme, and then just like, is it a scam of any kind? And I kind of reviewed that yesterday, right? Well, as I begin to review this and analyze and talk about all the points I want to make with Axie Infinity and the treasury and things like that, I immediately stopped and just told like a 15-minute story. So I had to pull it out of that video, you guys, and it's an interesting story. It's a true story. It happened to me, and I just extracted that, and that's going to be today's video right now. So something you want to watch, and excuse the setup here. I'm actually, and it's kind of relevant to this video, I'm a pack breaker now, which basically means I open booster packs live on Twitch and I sell those. So you can see I had to swap cameras because this is my desk setup. So every Friday and Saturday, I will sit there live on Twitch, you guys, and basically people can buy booster packs from me. I open them live, I sell them, and then they end up getting packed up just like this, and they get shipped out on Monday, essentially. So it's bladestylecards.com. So the reason that's kind of interesting is because when you hear the story that I'm about to tell you, you can just see how different my life is now compared to then. So it's kind of interesting, but excuse the setup. I had to swap things around. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Thanks. And I just wanted to basically go out there and give my own take. Now, I have a lot of experience analyzing business. I used to be in business myself, and I'll tell you guys a quick story about a call I received one day. So I learned how to invest in real estate when I was 22 years old. I ended up taking a real estate course, which cost thousands of dollars, and he taught me fairly well, actually. And I was pretty happy about that. So I bought a triplex and then I bought a duplex in 1 year. I was extremely frugal. I was leading sales teams across the country, setting up kiosks and malls, basically all over the country and stuff like that, and training people. And so I saved all of the money that I had. And when I was a renter, I actually didn't even buy myself a bed because I believed that if I saved everything I had for investments, eventually my life would be better. Only I knew. So I actually bought my first house before I bought my first bed, you guys. So ridiculous. Oh man. But I had a house in New Jersey, and I had a house in Pittsburgh, and a different house in Pittsburgh. So at one point I had 3 houses, my own primary residence, and a triplex and a duplex. And now I own none of them, by the way. So I don't have my house in New Jersey. I don't have any investment properties whatsoever. But back 10 years ago, I did. And I grabbed the triplex and the duplex in a single year, actually, learning real estate, because I just had all of my savings. Well, the person who was teaching me was writing a book, and he wanted to have success stories, people that took his courses and succeeded and did it well, so he could use it in an example, and that drastically appealed to me. If you ever want to pick it up, I think it's on Amazon still. It's The Consumer Guide to Investment Real Estate. All right, so yeah, I'm in there between page 125 and 144. So I'm actually a case study in this book, and and this was when I was 23 years old. So, I'm making income, I'm making some moves, successful at business to some extent. There's always ups and downs in a career, and when you look at an entrepreneur's life, you're going to see some crazy highs on things that they've achieved, and you're going to see some insane lows on how they mismanaged it, didn't know how to use it, their money was stolen, or they lost it here or there, or whatever it is. And that's more or less my story too. If anyone knew the rest of my life story for the next 10 years, I never would have made it into a book. Things ultimately didn't go very well. But anyway, so, that's my position in life at this point when I was 23. And I got this call to make $30,000 a month. And I thought, that's pretty good. So I wanted to figure out more about this, and I I said, well, okay, I need to have the CEO on the phone with me and his best salesman, because I need to figure out exactly the systems that they're using in order to create this much money. If you think that I can get $30,000 a month, fantastic, let's explore it. And so I'm now talking to 2 company CEOs and their top salesmen, and the 3 of them are trying to get me involved in this thing. And it was very simple. They wanted to bring me in as a legendary founder. And of course, whenever I bring in 2 people, well, they're going to be able to do this and this. But don't worry, it's not actually an MLM. It's not actually a pyramid scheme, because we have these fantastic products. These are the main things. Something products, whatever. And I was like, well, look, I'm not spending any money to get involved in a company. If there's a actual position that I can work and then create revenue by creating value in the marketplace, if there's already a product line that can be sold, that's the kind of thing that I'm more interested in. They're like, oh, well, he's making $30,000 a month from selling the products, regardless of whether or not you bring anyone into the company. It's a working company. I said, well, I need to see it. I have to actually see this. I have to actually watch. So I fly to Sacramento, California, and I go stay with this guy who's the top salesman for 2 days. And the idea was to simply watch his sales process. I may have joined this company if I could personally validate to myself that there was actually money that he was creating and that it didn't conflict with any of my morals. So I go to this guy's house. First thing I do is Zillow his house. So I find out, like, okay, this was the last sale price of the house. This is what it's appraised at. It was just under $1 million house. I was like, all right, I know when he bought, he's upside down in his mortgage. So far, so bad. And I'm looking at this house. It's pretty nice. The house tour was cool. He had a mini golf course in his backyard. He had a pool. He had an entire room that was a movie theater. He had an open garage with 2 BMWs. It was one of those. And as I walk into the house, guys, there's a monster check on a wall that says $25,000. And it's for a company that was not even being discussed. The products weren't even being discussed. And I just got skeeved out. I was like, this is unbelievable to me. Now, fun fact, you guys, on a hard drive offline, so just so you guys know, it's not online, I actually have recorded a video of every week of my business life for 5 years. I had these video logs, these little documentaries of how insane my life is. It would be amazing to actually catch that. I haven't rewatched that or anything, but it'd be very, very cool to see just my original take. And I have daily journals, not every day, but a lot of times. So even when I was there at like 3 in the morning, I was still writing down every detail of how this day worked, because I was there to analyze a company. And I was there to really figure out, is this a position that I should take, and maybe leave what I'm already involved in, which was considerable, in order to do this. Pretty interesting. So what happens is he starts pitching me, oh man, all sorts of stuff not related to the company, right? He's like, here's your plan, right? Yeah, real estate's fine, sure, and we'll, selling these things, absolutely, but really over here, this is where the money is. Totally different company, totally different idea. First time I heard about it, when I'm walking into his house. And I was like, that is not my plan. I'm here actually to look at, the first thing here, how you get sales. And so we didn't see that. Instead, we heard like a call with his coaching person from his MLM. And then we went out to dinner, and it was like this cool, fancy, it's $100 a person dinner that he's trying to impress me. And we had a really jacked waiter, right? We had a super strong waiter. And he actually offered him a job. He said, hey, I have a gym. I would like to hire you as a manager of my fitness center, which is a very nice proposal. You know what he actually meant? He basically meant, hey, I would like to rope you into an MLM. Don't worry, we have a fitness product. That's his you'll be a manager spiel. I was skeeved out by this guy. Like, I was so embarrassed to even like be near him. It was awful. So remember, I'm there a couple days. So the last day, he's just talking about his MLM over and over and over and over again. And the last day, I'm like, look, sell one of your products because I flew here to examine how you're selling it. He's like, well, we need the products first. I was like, no. You're the top salesman of this company making $30,000 where you and your boss wanted me to work for you. So sell something. Do some work. So I'm in his house like, do something. This guy, like, he was almost like caught in the... He was caught in the act. Like, he's a grown man. His face is super red. His voice is quivering. And he's like, we don't have the products. Basically, whenever when we get the products, we'll sell it, but we don't have the products. So here was the situation, guys. Remember my real estate connection, right? This phone call that I got. That person was legit. He was a friend of mine. He was a real estate investor. He had real estate products. This guy, this top salesman, scammer, MLM guy, and his CEO was trying to merge the two companies, a company that actually didn't exist, with a company that was actually successful and had products, and this 30 grand a month was made up. And he was basically saying, yes, he currently makes $30,000 a month selling my friend's products that he doesn't have yet. I stood up. I shook his hands. I was like, we have to part as friends now because this is over. And I was obviously furious. So I stormed out. And the very first thing I do is I call him. I call the guy who gave me the original call. Was like, he's like, oh, so how did it go? How was the selling? What are the products like? I was like, they don't have any products. He said, what? I said, they don't have products, dude. He's like, what does that mean? What are you talking about? What do you mean they don't have products? This is a multi-million-dollar company. I was like, they don't, it's nothing. They want to sell your products. And he said he didn't have them. He's not made a sale. And then his voice changed, my friend. He's like, oh my God, I can't even believe this is happening. I'm walking into a meeting now. We're going to sign a merger. I was like, what? You're going to merge with this company? They don't have products, dude. They want to sell yours. They've done nothing. And he's like, oh my God, I am so glad you told me this. So here I am flying across the country, right? Investigating a company firsthand. My mom is an investigative journalist. I guess some of it was passed through. And I'm trying to figure out, is 30 grand a month real? Turns out $0 a month, $0 a month is real. And so what happened was, after my phone call, after I walked out, that company never showed up for the meeting. So only, my friend who's in real estate, who's totally legit, he was in this meeting and they didn't show up because they basically got caught. And then later I found out that these guys were shut down by the government. And since then, I haven't been able to find any trace of them online. So they're straight up gone. And apparently I saved my friend from this multi-million-dollar scam, guys. This multi-million-dollar international real estate scam I investigated and I prevented from happening. So while I was in the face of this, I got to see exactly how these freaking things work. These MLMs, 2-up programs, pyramid schemes, Ponzi schemes. I got to analyze it firsthand. And all of them are bad. I love Dave Ramsey. I'm a student of Dave Ramsey. I'm in Financial Peace University, going through the baby steps because I'm getting out of debt, right? My life is completely different than it was 10 years ago when I didn't have debt. Now I do. Again, the real estate, the entrepreneur up and down and everything. So I'm fighting hard to pay off my own debts with 1,000 side hustles and really working hard. I'm doing it all legitimately. And I love Dave Ramsey. And he and I have one major key difference. He says that Amway is the only good MLM and that the rest of them are scams. And I think there are no good MLMs. No 2-up programs, no pyramids, no Ponzi's, nothing. I think they're all terrible. And basically because of my own personal research and because of this reason right here, the product that the MLM person is selling is you. You have to pay so that you can then get to work. So he's selling you yourself, and you have to pay him for the privilege. And then what you have to do is become a walking billboard and talk to everybody you've ever met and everybody you won't meet and try to get them to do the same stupid thing. Whether you have a product or a service or whatever it is, it laces every conversation with the ulterior motive of, I'll build my relationship, I'll get him into the company. And when the person buys, when the person spends money thinking they're really just buying hope, is what it is. You're charging people for hope, for their own labor at that point, which is again for themselves, right? Not even for somebody else. And their labor is then to convince everybody else that this works down the line. I absolutely can't stand it. It's not how you create value in the marketplace. It's not how you love other people. It is not how you do right by other people. If you guys got roped into one of these, you could have easily gotten into it without understanding what they are. Get out today, make the phone call today, you're done. And if you're on the other side of it, bringing in more people, you are screwed, man. Like, you are going down. Like, it is just not going to work for you long term. So stop doing that.